What's up, Submission Sensei fam? My name's Sid Nanda, the founder of Submission Sensei. Today we're joined by Nikki Sullivan, an amazing black belt level coach, instructor, competitor. She placed second in the ADCC West Coast Trials among many, many, many other accomplishments and accolades. Connor, our director of marketing, does an amazing job getting her to open up and share her coaching philosophy, the kinds of lessons she's learned as a competitor, her the culture that she wants to embody at her new gym. Second Breakfast Jiu-Jitsu, gotta love Lord of the Rings reference. I still remember actually when Submission Sensei was just kind of an inkling in my mind's eye. I created this custom GPT on the ChatGPT store or whatever, and I remember getting feedback from Nikki Sullivan, Ryan Hall, Ryan's wife Jen, all in a little circle. And now we're on the App Store, which is pretty crazy. So, Nikki, just thank you so much for your encouragement, for being such a great coach to Connor and I and many others, and hope that y'all enjoy this podcast. Take care.
Nikki, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. So let's get right into it, right? How did you get started in jiu-jitsu? What started this journey for you?
Yeah, so I actually started at IU, at Indiana University. I was a senior and I took a class for a credit. I had an extra credit I could take. And I'd always been really interested in martial arts. So I decided to take Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and fell in love with it. And then I just trained as much as I could. And
Yeah.
eventually, like, I graduated, I kind of did some teaching jobs, but eventually decided this is what I want to do. This is what I'm passionate about. So yeah, I went for it, and now it's what I do full time.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so what was that room like just starting out at a local college club? What year was this? It was probably a while ago, right?
Yeah, this was 2009.
2009. Okay.
Mhm.
So local college club 2009. What was that like?
Yeah, it was great. It was you get an interesting. I like that I started at a university club because just the focus. I think of, at least from my instructor, was like had a very intellectual lens that he viewed jiu-jitsu through,
Hmm.
and you get this mix of, like, obviously of college students, but then you get also I remember at the beginning of every semester they would always make the warm-ups super hard because you would get these kind of meathead dudes coming through
Yeah,
that, like, maybe
wear them out
wrestle
a little bit.
super hard, and so it's kind of a way to weed that out a little bit. But yeah, like, I'm still friends with a lot of the people that I trained with at that time. Like, the guy who was my instructor at the time, Evan Mainweiler, he was a purple belt, and at that time, being a purple belt in jiu-jitsu was a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't have as many black belts. Small guy, like 150 pounds, and yeah, we still keep in touch. He designed my not the gym logo, but my personal, like, athlete logo that I've
Sure.
used for a long time. He designed it for me. He's a graphic designer, and just somebody that I reached out to and talked to
Yeah.
over the years. And yeah, so that's really cool.
Yeah,
But
it's super
uh,
super cool to stay in
yeah,
touch with those people from the beginning. What were you studying in school when you got bit by this bug?
elementary education.
Elementary education.
Yeah,
So what was that? I'm always curious to people, like, when did you realize that, like, okay, like, I love this, like, I want to do this full time? Was it sort of like right away, or was it just kind of like a process of coming to that?
it was right away.
It was right away.
I,
Yeah.
I didn't know right away that it was what I was gonna do, like, for my job,
Mm-hmm.
because that seemed kind of far-reaching. But I
Sure.
knew this is something I want to do as much as I can. And it was a thing where martial arts weren't really accessible growing up. I think there was maybe taekwondo in my town, but it I didn't want to ask my parents to pay for it. It was
Right.
kind of expensive, and girls didn't really wrestle when I was coming up. Like, if a
Mm-hmm.
girl wrestled, it was kind of unusual. So
Yeah.
it's just cool to see how, like, big it's become now.
Yeah.
I wish I had had that for sure. But I liked to roughhouse. I didn't know how to do anything, but I liked to wrestle with Ed brothers, friends. Like, I would, wrestle with boyfriends. So I wanted to do that. I wanted to roughhouse. I think that's a cool thing about jiu-jitsu, is it gives adults a space to roughhouse because you don't
Yes.
really have that.
No,
You
for
can't,
sure. Where
like,
else? I
you don't
mean, you
have to
don't get
go.
that in the office,
Yeah,
you know?
no, I think it's important. I think it keeps you young in some ways. But yeah, so I think And I actually did take some Taekwondo my freshman year in college. I got up to purple belt in that, and then I was like, this isn't really, it doesn't feel as realistic as what I'm looking for. I want something that I feel like would work.
Yeah.
Um, and so then I actually started Hapkido also. I was just in their club, so it was like a very more self-defense based art.
Yeah.
They did punches and kicks too, but that was a lot of fun, like really great community. I did that. I got my black belt in that. But then I started jiu-jitsu at the same time. So I got super into martial arts.
Yeah.
My senior year, I was doing like, because I don't think a lot of people know how big the martial arts program at IU is. They have, you can take like Kali, Eskrima, sorry. There's judo, there's Jeet Kune Do, there's like all kinds of martial arts. They're like martial arts nerds
Yeah.
at IU, and it's really cool. So I had the opportunity to try a lot of different martial arts while I was there. Like a lot of people I was friends with, they were into tricking, and people went to study school, and just very about Bruce Lee and that life. And so it was really cool that I got to start jiu-jitsu in that kind of environment, where you're looking at like all these different ways you can train martial arts. And then obviously eventually I chose jiu-jitsu as my focus and what I wanted to do full time. And I think a big part of that for me is just I like how you can spar it 100%.
Yes.
I do that every day, kind of safely
Yeah.
for the most part.
Oh, for sure.
And it's just so deep.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm just still learning so much and feel like a white belt some days. So I really love jiu-jitsu. But yeah, I remember when I first started, I was training as much as I could. I remember rolling with people in the grass outside in the quad. I remember the first time I learned how to do a hip toss.
Yeah.
I was like still in school, and I was telling my classmates about it, and they're like, show us. And so I'm out in the grass in the quad, like after class, hip tossing this guy, and like probably not a really soft place for him to land.
No.
He was actually really tough, but
Yeah.
probably didn't appreciate that. But yeah, I was just so excited about it.
Yeah, no, that is so awesome. And when did you start competing right away, right? Because I mean, you're a super serious competitor. Like when you first started, it seemed like you're just sort of falling in love with the art and practice of it. But like when did like competition really become a focus for you?
I didn't compete for almost 2 years.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was never really super into that. I think I played other sports, like I played soccer. I'd competed in things before, but I would get really nervous about it, and I think I just wanted to train. I wasn't doing it to try to go win competitions. I think the reason I eventually did start competing and people encouraged me to was because I didn't have a lot of females to train with, and it's hard when you're training with a lot of guys and you're learning, but it's hard to really gauge where your jiu-jitsu is at because people can beat a lot of things with strength. And so or maybe they're going easy on you and stuff is working because
or they just don't care that much that day, right?
So,
I mean, like
it's hard to know. I wanted to know, where am I? And so I started competing really just a way to test myself against other women, against people my size, my skill level, and then just really kind of got into that and started doing it more and more. And I didn't really start competing seriously until I did a tournament in Abu Dhabi. So I went out to the Abu Dhabi Pro is a gi tournament, so different than the ADCC. But they, at that time, would do, they still kind of, they've changed the way they do it, but they would do a qualifier tournament. And so I did one in California. And basically, if you won your division and the absolute, they would pay for your flight and your stay, like the whole, everything covered to go to Abu Dhabi and compete at their big tournament. And so I went out and did this tournament almost on a whim because a buddy of mine that I trained with was going, and ended up winning as a blue belt, which was like, I didn't realize at the time how big of a deal that was. People were reaching out like, this is a really big deal. And I was like, they're really going to fly me somewhere? Like I felt like maybe that wasn't true.
Yeah, sure.
But it was really cool. So then at that point, that's when I really started thinking maybe this is something that I could take and do something with.
Yeah, that's awesome. And can you talk about a little bit about just sort of like learning how to be a competitor? Because like I like most people, I like played some sports growing up,
Mhm.
right? But that I had never experienced anything like competition nerves for jujitsu, and it was like really like eye-opening to me, right? Like you're having this sort of physiological response, right? It's like, oh, you try to tell yourself to relax, but it's like that
Mhm.
it doesn't work. Like my heart rate's still going, like the butterflies are still flapping, like that
Yeah.
adrenaline dump is still happening. Like how did you kind of come to learn how to compete and learn how to embrace all that?
Yeah, I think it helps that I had competed in other sports before, so
Hmm.
it wasn't a new feeling. It is different when you're out there by yourself.
Yeah.
The nice thing about it is because when not jujitsu is a team sport and that like you're training together, you're preparing together, so you're
Right.
not alone to go out to compete, but you are alone. You're doing it by yourself. Like even if you have a coach, it's really up to you. When you're playing soccer, you're with the whole team. So for me, I would get really nervous about like if I make a mistake, I'm letting everybody down, not just
Yeah.
me. So in some ways, jujitsu was easier in that, well, I'm really the only one who is affected by the mistakes that I make
Yeah.
in this. Um, but yeah, I think, um, yeah, it's still like I still get nervous when I
Sure.
compete. You get, I think it, and in some ways, just the more you compete, the more you get used to it. It's
Hmm.
not that you don't get nervous anymore. And I get less nervous. Like I used to get nerves a month before the tournament. As soon
Yeah.
as I signed up, I would start feeling nervous. I would
Hmm.
start having trouble sleeping. Um, worrying about like, is my uniform IBJJF, you know, is it going to be okay? Is it going to pass the inspection? But I, yeah, I think the biggest thing that there are a lot of things that helped, but the biggest thing is just to, because I think I've spent a lot of time trying not to feel those nerves and trying to like distract myself from it or think about something else. And I think letting yourself feeling it, letting yourself feel it, and
Hmm.
also like figuring out how you can use that energy in a positive direction. So a lot of you'll hear people say, "You're not nervous, you're excited."
Yeah.
Like it's the same. It's almost the same energy, but tell yourself that you're excited. Like your heart rate's up, you're excited. You're gonna go murder this person. It's like the whole do and let it pass over and through you kind of
Sure.
thing.
Sure.
You're not avoiding the feeling. You're like, I know I'm gonna be nervous, but I'm gonna feel that. I'm gonna be in it, and I'm like, I'm going out to fight. I'm going out to hurt this person. This person might hurt me.
Yeah.
So, in some ways, you need that like heightened sense of readiness.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think just using that as a yes, I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do. And I think also just remembering this is what I love to do. I
Hmm.
always remind myself that I love this. Treat it like just as a day in the training room. I'm going to do my best every step of the way. If I focus too much on the outcome or like, winning the whole thing, sometimes that can get in the way. So just thinking about like just this match and
Yeah.
even smaller than that, like one step at a time. Like I'm going to win every exchange. Like the beginning of the match, I'm going to win that. Like wherever I end up, okay, we're moving forward from here. Um, and just, I know all I can do is my best,
Yeah.
and I mess up, but like every moment, all you can do is try your best. And as long as I leave the mat knowing that I left it all out there, I feel good about my matches.
Yeah. And for like game planning, like do you like to go out with an intention? Do you think about your opponent, or are you just sort of looking to go out there and just be in more of like a flow state, just sort of take it as it comes?
Mm, I mean, I think when I'm preparing to compete, I definitely narrow down what I'm training, what I'm, going for. Like I focus on my A game, so to speak. Um, but I think I've never been super big on studying my opponents. Maybe I should
Hmm.
do it more. I've done it some. I do think there's a lot to like going out and playing your game and not worrying too much about what they're going to do. But it is smart to know, like if they have a position they're really good at, maybe we don't go right into that position.
Right. Right.
But if you have something you're really good at and it involves being close to the position they're good at, that doesn't mean it, don't play your game because you're
Hmm.
afraid of theirs either. Like, so I think there's a balance with that. But I think it's important to have a plan, but it's important to not be so tied to your plan that you can't improvise and you can't flow. So, and I think that's where just getting training rounds with different partners who are going to give you different looks can be super, super helpful. Like cross training, visiting other gyms, sometimes that's super helpful because you're practicing playing your plan against somebody who might not let it work the way you
Right.
anticipate. Just gets you used to being willing to be flexible. I think it's super important.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like that's kind of like maybe an underappreciated dynamic too, is like when you have the same training partners, you start to like learn each other's games, right? And
Mhm.
that might not necessarily be reflective of like the competition environment, right? It's definitely something to keep in mind.
Mhm. I think so.
Awesome. Yeah. So you start in 2009, get
Mhm.
super into it. When did you sort of like take it on as like a profession? Was it like right out of school? Like were you teaching or were you a full-time competitor? What was that like?
Yeah, I taught for a few years after I
Hmm.
graduated. Was still training locally, and started traveling more just to like, because I lived in Indiana, and
Yeah.
so I would go places like Chicago. I'd go to Ohio. I'd go like cross train with other girls on weekends sometimes just to get more competitive training because that was something that was hard for me to find in
Yeah.
India. Yep. And then I would say around purple belt, um, I started seriously considering maybe doing it full time.
Hmm.
I was worried about it, like
Yeah.
maybe because just especially at that time, like the idea of being able to make a living doing jujitsu seemed very unrealistic.
Yeah.
And I just eventually had to come to a place where I realized I'm gonna regret it if I don't try.
Yeah,
So the regret of
absolutely.
not trying is greater than trying and failing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? So I decided to move to California
Yeah.
and do training full time. And and I was like, maybe, I'll give it a year. Maybe
Yeah.
it doesn't work, maybe it does. But and I really realized, and this is something I tell people a lot when I teach seminars, is just you can limit yourself a lot in life based on either what other people tell you is realistic or what you tell yourself. But I realize a lot is possible. You have to
For
work really
sure.
hard. And I think that's something people don't always realize is, going after something like that requires a lot of sacrifice and a lot of hard work. And there was a lot of like, I shared a room for several years. I've slept on floors. Like I
Hmm.
was training all week and then busting my butt on weekends, going and like I was selling t-shirts at tournaments for a sponsor. Like I would go rent a rental car and pick up all the mannequins and the wire racks and the shirts and drive them out to the venue and set them up and then work all day at the tournament selling stuff, go like break it down, bring it all back, and then I
Yeah.
would go train. um, I remember one night I had been up in Northern California and I drove back through the night. Probably wasn't smart. Um, got back at like 4 in the morning and then went to comp class that morning because I was just, I was just so about, I just really wanted it. And so, yeah, like to a certain extent, that's what you have to do. The people that I see who have succeeded, not just in jujitsu and anything, they like they worked really hard at it. They were consistent, and yeah, they just they didn't give up. They like kept at it every day over time. I really believe that that it works.
Yeah, no, and I think that's you hit on like a super key thing, right? Is like sometimes you kind of have to just gamble and follow your passion and not
Yeah.
not listen to the naysayer. And a lot of times the naysayer is just you, right? Like I feel like that's a
Mhm.
big thing. Like you just
Yeah.
you want to project on other people's like people tell me I'll fail. I'm like, are they telling you you're gonna fail? Or are you concerned you're gonna fail? And now
Yeah.
like you're creating this whole scenario in your head where people are
Yeah.
predicting your downfall.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, how do you like sort of like balance all of the hats you have to wear to sort of make a living in jujitsu, right? Because like there's very few people that can really just compete full time,
Hmm.
particularly when you started out too, right? Like when you started out in like 2009, like it's a very there's just no prize, there's very little prize money in it.
Right. Yeah. So in beginning, I wasn't making a living doing jiu-jitsu until maybe 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that came from seminars.
Yeah.
So I was teaching, and then I was actually a nanny for a while, and then I moved to San Diego, and then I was slinging shirts for my sponsor and also keeping my expenses very, very low by doing
Right.
things, sharing a room.
Yeah.
You know, so when I first moved to San Diego, I lived in like a fighter house
Yeah.
where we had a 2-bedroom apartment and 5 of us lived there. So there were
Oh,
2
wow.
per room and then somebody sleeping on a mattress under the stairs.
Yeah.
And it was exciting. I
Yeah.
wouldn't do that now. I'm
Yeah,
in a different
sure.
life, but yeah, at the time, like I was all about it. I was like, this is all I need. I
Mm-hmm.
want to train. This is what's letting me do that. So I think, yeah, like that's a sacrifice that I made to do what I wanted to do. But and then I would say I started teaching seminars probably as a brown belt, but I wasn't getting a ton until once I got to black belt and
Yeah.
started. I had a successful brown belt career,
Mm-hmm.
and then at black belt my first year I did very, very well in competition.
Yeah.
And yeah, and this like also was pretty active on social media and getting my name out there, and so I was able to, yeah, I don't know, and I think God blessed me. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
I was just very blessed by a lot of people. But yeah, I started teaching seminars and got to a place where I remember when I like moved and had my own room, that was a big upgrade.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah, there were a lot of little milestones along the way, but yeah, now pretty much, yeah, my living is made from teaching jujitsu. A lot of it is traveling and teaching. I do a little bit of like art on the side too, so
Yeah.
I sell paintings and prints. And maybe I'll, make that bigger as that's something I would like to do with the
Yeah, that's
gym,
awesome.
is just, also like have an artistic space. I think I have a lot of dreams and visions for what things could be one step at a time. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, can we talk a little bit about that, right? After a very long career competing, teaching seminars, grinding, you're on your way to opening up your own space. Can you just talk a little bit about the vision for that?
Yeah, I'll say people have asked me for a long time if I was going to open a gym, and I will always say no.
Yeah.
And I always thought, like, man, maybe I could just teach seminars or go like be a wandering instructor, be a nomad. I just think I got to a place where I realized I really want to, like, maybe I want to create the space that I would have wanted to train in.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I want to create a safe space, but just like I want a community. I just think there's so many cool possibilities for what a jiu-jitsu space could be.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it really wasn't until honestly even the past few months
Yeah.
that I started just feeling really driven
Yeah.
to this vision of opening a gym and creating just a beautiful space. And so I have, I can see in my mind what I want it to look like, and what I want it to feel like. But yeah, I just really want to create a space for people to grow, to be challenged, to train hard, but also to just be heard and be appreciated. And I think there are a lot of people, especially after COVID and everything going on, and just like, I don't know, I feel like people are so disconnected.
Absolutely.
They're seeking connection, and so I think, jujitsu, yeah, it's going to be a jujitsu gym, and we
Mm-hmm.
want to do jujitsu
Yeah.
because we love jujitsu, but we also want to break bread together and stay for second breakfast. Like,
Yeah, yeah, that's so
that's what
that's
I love
the
about
name, right? Second
it.
breakfast. It
Yeah, I
looks
just
like you
have
got
so
a
much.
some merch already.
Yes, I'm making. Yeah, hopefully I'll have a store up soon, but I'm putting together some hoodies, designing some shirts and things, and having fun with that. But yeah, I love the name, and just like how it kind of tells a story and has so many can be interpreted in so many different ways, but
And for those people who don't know, what's the origin of the reference?
it's from Lord of the Rings. So Devin and I are both big Lord of the Rings nerds, and love it. It's actually from the movie, not from the book. Well,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I did not realize there was not a textual basis for
it is.
for
Well,
the
there is, like in The Hobbit, he does talk about having a second breakfast.
okay.
But the quote
The quote.
from the movie is where Pippin, they're like, Strider has taken them to Rivendell, and they're asking when they're gonna have breakfast, and he's like, "We've already have it." And Pippin's like, "Oh, we've had one, yes. What about second breakfast?" And
That's spot
I don't
on.
think he knows about second breakfast, Pip. But yeah, so I think, yeah, for me, there's a lot of yeah, I think it's fun that like we're not going to explain it too much to people. We're going to let people figure it out a little bit. But yeah, to me, it just kind of, I love that we're not a Lord of the Rings gym, but we're going to have a lot of fun with
Yeah, that's not the worst idea.
for sure. No, and I love that like you have the Hobbit hole and the cozy like community and friendship and like, just having meals together and spending time, but there's also the adventure and finding your courage. And we I played around with a lot of Hobbit door logos, but eventually chose the Broken Blade. And just really liked what that represented, because I don't know, I think to me it kind of represents just not giving up. That's something that I hashtag a lot kind of for myself, just to keep myself accountable. Like, I've wanted to give up a lot on this journey, and just like that things can be renewed, can be blade that was broken. Renewed shall be blade that was broken. But yeah, just wherever you've come from, whatever you've been through, like that we can rebuild and we can create something new. And that's, I think, part of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic. Yeah, really looking forward to you guys getting your own space and building that sort of culture that you want to be a part of. Can you talk a little bit about your approach to teaching? Right, there's a lot of discourse in the community now about drilling is bad. You got to drill this way, that way, blah blah blah. I thought you had having been a student of yours, I thought you had a really cool approach to just like structuring the class. Would you mind talking about that a little bit?
I appreciate that. Yeah, people have a lot of opinions.
They do have they have many opinions.
I drill. So I like drilling, but like the way I drill is not, I think sometimes when people hear drilling, they think you're just doing a move over and over again with no resistance. And I don't think that. I don't think anybody that I've ever trained with who competes at a high level drills that way.
Sure.
For the most part. I think people, like, yeah, when you're learning a move in the beginning, you need to get the mechanics down. But then once you do, you should add resistance. And that's a skill in itself, is finding ways to train with other people and be able to give responses and give resistance without like getting so competitive that you can't do anything. So that's something that I try to do in my classes, is find that middle ground for people, and always teach people how to, workshop positions, how to actually drill with resistance, drill in a way that's collaborative.
Yeah.
So both people, and I try to tell people, because it's easy for, say, the person that's not drilling to check out a little bit and kind of just be going through the motions. And I try to tell people when I teach, like, you're both working right now.
Yes.
Like, say the person on bottom is drilling De La Hiva or drilling a sweep. Person on top, your job right now, you're drilling your position. You're drilling, like, keeping a good base.
Yes.
You're drilling, whatever the case may be, like you have a job too. And so I think and it's hard for people, especially if you don't know a lot. It's instructor to figure out how do we get people in these positions. And I think there's a lot of value to like the games people are playing now. Like I don't call them games. Some people call them games. The structuring training in a way that is, and really thinking about how do we train and how can we structure it in a way that's more efficient, that helps people learn better. I think that's great. I think where I get frustrated with it is like where it just seems like marketing. It's like you're just marketing this to make money, or to, I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
No,
um,
I totally get it. And I think like what you really like taught us too is like how to play from a position, right?
mm,
Is like this super, it's not just here's this move, here's that. It's like you start out and we would spend sometimes like a couple weeks on like a position, but it's like,
mhm,
hey, this is kind of how you play from single leg X. Here's this option, here's that option, and like building in the time and space in class to sort of to play things out and learn how things work, right? Like learn. It's not like everyone knows that like jujitsu isn't just like this like totally linear like A plus B equals C. Like
mhm.
there's all this stuff that happens. And it's a game, and I think yeah, you do a great job of just like structuring the class to like let people play and learn the position, and like giving instructions to the person being drilled onto is like so big. Like you start to sort of understand what we're looking for.
I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
it was really fun to see because it kind of grew over time, but to see
Mm-hmm.
that class and to see people like asking each other questions
Mm-hmm.
and giving
Yeah.
each other feedback or like getting in a position to be like, I couldn't figure out what to do here. And
Mm-hmm.
that's great
Yeah.
because now we can work together to figure out, what do we do when they react in this way. Um, yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. That's like there are a lot of things I really love about jujitsu, but that's one of my favorite parts is that it is just such a chess match and like a puzzle to solve.
Yes.
And I love solving puzzles.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, let's figure this out. Let's see like can we find the best move here?
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure, and just always like just having that sort of space to play. Like we said, you don't call them games, but like you would just we're in like whatever it is, deep half. We're playing
Hmm.
from deep half. Like here's the we've been armed with sort of these like options from here, and let's sort of like play it out in this sort of like constrained way where we're really honing in on the sort of like mini game we've just been learning.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's super cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, and you are the inventor of the Panda Guard, is that correct?
Yeah. Kind of. I mean, so I did not. That's just marketing, really.
That's great
I
marketing.
did not invent the position. I was not the first person to invert on somebody's
But
life.
did you invent the
Uh,
name Panda?
yeah,
There you go.
and the Panda Guard for sure. And that's kind of a nickname people had given me
Mhm.
because I like to go upside down, so they call me Panda.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, I used to. I do it less now because I'm trying to avoid back pain as I get older. But
Right.
yeah, I yeah I put on an instructional several years back about the Panda Guard and I think I was somebody who was using it maybe in a way other people weren't in
Hmm.
competition. I used it a lot at brown belt and like earlier black belt to get sweeps, knee bars,
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, so I kind of put it together in a little bit of a system, and I still use it. It's definitely evolved, but maybe someday I'll put out the Panda Guard 2.0.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've spent a lot of time honestly lately just refining the game around that so
Yeah.
that maybe it happens, but if it doesn't, like working a lot of the other areas of my game for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Panda
I
Guard's
think
fun.
it's one of like the fascinating things about, just like high level jujitsu is people
Yeah.
are looking for an edge, right? You're looking to sort
Hmm.
of like maybe not invent a whole new thing, but to iterate on and become better than the competition from a certain area. Is that
Hmm.
something you sort of think about as like in your training, like how can I get to somewhere that maybe people aren't as familiar with?
Yeah, for sure. I think a big thing that I've been working on is just trying to be more well-rounded in my game so that I don't end up in positions where I feel like I don't like being here.
Yeah.
So almost trying to take places that I don't feel like I have a lot of options from or that I struggle in and really working them in an active way against opponents who are good at those positions. I think that's really important for growth. I think yeah, I also think it's really fun to just work on funky things and figuring out, what can I do with my attributes that people might not expect. Like, yeah, how do I chain things together too? Like, can I invert and then go into a single leg or something?
Mhm.
Can I, throw people off in that way? I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And you've been linked up with Beatrice Jin lately. Is that am
Hmm.
I know her as Baron Bozo.
Yeah.
What's
No, she's
what
great. I have
what's that been like? We the team's talking about that. We just think her page is like super funny, and then
you
we saw you guys starting to
you does
collab.
such a good job with her content. Like she just it's so funny.
It is.
Her yeah. No, but she's a wonderful, wonderful person. One of the good ones for sure. And I just appreciate that yeah, a few months ago I just found myself kind of needing a place to train.
Hmm.
And I reached out and we had actually competed against each other a few times. So um, I was just like, I understand if you don't want to train with me, but
Yeah.
I'm down if you ever want to train. And she immediately was like, yeah, let's train. And we got together and just started training together. And it's been really cool to train with her because she's super tough. She's actively like trying to grow, trying to improve all the time. So she's somebody who um, I feel like we can train and we're both trying really hard, but at the same time, we're not like taking a lot of ego into the training where we are
Yeah.
trying to each other. And I think that's sometimes hard to find. And I think that's just been a big blessing in my
Yeah.
life, like, to find somebody like her who I can train with, who I can train hard, but we're also like really trying to help each other learn and help each other with our jujitsu. And yeah, I really love training with her. She's great.
Yeah, no, and I think that's kind of like an interesting, it's not really a dynamic for like the scrubs like me of the world, but like for someone like yourself, right? The pool of like elite women in your weight class, maybe it's not that big, right? And it's like you kind of there's a lot, I'm sure there's a lot of benefits to finding someone to work with, but there's also, I'm sure, that kind of like undertone of like we might have to face each other, or like we have faced each other, like we're competitors, but you also sort of kind of need each other in a way to sort of get that really good training with someone, like to get that sort of like look that you're going to face in the competition.
Yeah, but I think there's this understanding that
Hmm.
women, especially women who have been around for a while, who have experienced lacking in female training partners and
Yeah.
experience like how much of a struggle that can be, and just like an appreciation of just this what it takes emotionally to get out there and put it on the line and compete and like just be working every day. So I think there's a respect that women have for each other who you've both gone through those same things. Maybe yeah. So I think yeah, I train with Maya Madelon too a lot.
Right. Yeah.
Same thing. Like she just, man, just really there's so many wonderful women
Yeah.
locally in this community,
I
which
know.
is
Yeah.
cool. I came from San Diego, which was like a jiu-jitsu hotbed and
Right.
so much good training, and moved here almost like thinking maybe I won't compete anymore. I don't know. But it's been so cool to find this community of women locally in Virginia who um, maybe don't have access, to as many training partners as you would have in a San Diego, but like just really value each other. And yeah, I've just really appreciated the support I've gotten from them, and also just the willingness to go in and train hard, but also like then just sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk about life. And yeah, it's been really nice.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like there's a lot of really great camaraderie there. And you've been involved in sort of like women's classes, or right, just sort of like creating this sort of like women's DMV scene. Can you talk about that like a little bit? Just like creating those spaces, particularly with like there's a lot of like news in the community about BJJ gyms being sort of unsafe, right? And can you just talk a
Yeah.
little bit about like creating those safe spaces and trying to
Mhm.
establish that culture?
Yeah, for sure. And I will say, like, that's all Beatrice created that open mat. It's been running for I don't know how many years now. Years.
Hmm.
She started it, uh, and like just really, it's really blown up. And she has an open mat on Friday and on Sunday, open to any women of any affiliation.
It's
It
awesome.
did really well. So yeah, I got involved with that.
Mhm.
Um, in the past several months, and just really appreciate that. Maya is now starting a free women's comp training on Saturday too, which I think is super cool. So It's just neat to see women in this community creating spaces for other women to come in and train together and not have to worry about, is it going to be safe or not? You know, not even like things can go to a really dark place, obviously. But even just worrying about this guy like having an ego and hurting you or something
Sure.
like
Yeah,
that.
like the literal
Just
physical immediate safety, you know?
and
Yeah.
like, don't get me wrong, like I have male training partners that I love
Mhm.
training with. I've owe a lot to the male training partners that I've had in my life. So I'm not trying to be like, don't train with guys, but
Yeah.
there's something special that comes from women being able to get together and train. It's a different energy, and just for a lot of women, they come from a gym where they don't get to train with other women all the time,
For
and
sure.
there's a lot of value to that. So yeah, I think it's just cool. I really appreciate Beatrice's open mat and all these women who, and it's not, you know, I love that she doesn't just make it about her
Mhm.
also, like it's really a lot of women have taken ownership over it, and you know they like go get food together, and they just yeah, they very much value being a part of that community. So I think that's neat how it's just brought together women from almost every gym in the
Yeah.
area, I think. And yeah, I think that's really neat.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's like, you're just touching on like that community aspect, right? Like what you're
Hmm.
trying to build at Second
Yeah.
Breakfast and what you're involved in. Like I think that's why people do like I love that it's like this endless puzzle that I can sort of gnaw on,
Hmm.
but like a huge part of it too for me is just like being in community with people, like being on the mats, hanging out, is just great. It's so enriching to my life, right? It's like I'm never gonna compete at a high level like I like that, and that's like that's fine. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to be a gung-ho competitor to no disrespect to all the gung-ho competitors out there, but
Yeah.
like it doesn't have to be, competing and being excellent doesn't have to be the focal point of your life for you to like get a tremendous amount of benefit from this community.
No, for sure. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, Nikki, and you got a chance to play around with our app a little bit. Like, what were your thoughts?
Mhm.
What did you think about that?
I think it's really cool. I mean, obviously, it's still growing and building. I
Hmm.
think that one thing I looked up and they didn't have an answer to yet, which is totally fine.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, I think it has a ton of potential. It's like, you
yeah,
know, basically like chat GPT for jiu-jitsu. And that's something that like I'm super behind in technology.
yeah,
Honestly, I always have been. But especially as I'm working on opening a gym and like figuring out how to design a website and do all these different things that I'm not good at, I've realized, oh, chat GPT is super valuable because I can ask
it's
it, how do I do
incredible.
this thing?
Yeah,
And it gives me an answer. And
yeah,
it's way easier than what I was doing, which was trying to just figure it out by myself, which I can do, but it takes a long time. So no, I think it's really, really neat idea and has a lot of potential for just you know, I have this jujitsu question and I could spend a lot of time searching the internet and trying to find something about it, or I could go to this app and being able to save time is
yeah.
very
No,
valuable.
and absolutely, it's like something. It's not like we're trying to replace something. Like we're not trying to replace instruction, we're trying to replace it. It's like it's just ease, right? It's like there's all
Yeah.
kinds of things you can chat GPT can do. There's things you could do, there wasn't a lot you couldn't do before there. Like you could go to the library and get a book and learn how to do anything, but then Google made it way easier, and then
Yeah.
chat GPT made it way easier than that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
I need to learn how to get out of mount. It's like, yeah, you could read a book, you could watch an
Uh,
instructional, or you could just get a super quick frame of reference with some
yeah.
text that you can literally look at before you're, when you're in the car before class. Like I remember I did my first gi class in years. I'm like, I'm gonna get collar choke. Like people are gonna just collar choke this shit out of me. Like it's coming. I know
Yeah.
it's coming. Class is in 10 minutes. Like how do I defend collar chokes? And I still got collar choked, to be fair, but
That's
I got collar choked fewer times and was able to
mhm.
successfully defend with, I mean, we're talking like seconds of study, you know what I mean? Or
That's
just like,
cool.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just making things easier for people.
Yeah. No, I think that's really cool. It's great. I hope it's super successful and let me know how I can help because
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's great. I love seeing people just going out there and, you know, being passionate about something and pursuing it. And yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, yeah, like everything you were saying earlier about just like it's a million reasons not to do things, and like you're gonna regret it if you don't try to
Yeah,
do it. So it's like, yeah, why not go all in on making like, the ultimate grappling app?
I think it's great. I think you guys are gonna work hard at it and make it something successful. And it seems like you're working with a lot of people too who are like giving feedback and um yeah, no,
Yeah,
I think that's
for sure. Yeah. And it's like it's cool. Like we were talking about the whole like community thing. Like it's all people from 50. Like it's all gym guys. It's like me, Sid, Safe used to train there. He's in UAE now. John Gordon is like an absolute genius dev, like you'd probably never know it, but he's just, a fantastic developer and mind.
yeah,
Like, and that was just like all formed on the mats, right?
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's the cool thing about jiu-jitsu is how it brings together a lot of people from different walks of life. It's something I think about with my, future gym when it happens. Like,
Hmm.
what kinds of people are we gonna have, and how? And I would love a space where people can like bring those skills or those talents and like add them to the community. I love that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, you meet so many cool people, and like you become friends with people. Like there's a respect and like a friendship that you'd never develop normally, right? If you told me 10
Yeah,
years ago that I'd be friends with cops, I'd tell you you're crazy. But like I'm making all these like great friends and buddies now, and some
yeah,
are there's people in law enforcement, there's people in tech, there's people, there's I don't know, people who just got out of jail and are working at Five Guys and are trying to better themselves, you know what I mean? And it just
hmm,
it's awesome.
yeah. That's really cool.
Cool, cool. So thank you so much for doing the pod, Nikki. Totally just want to be respectful of your time. Anything you want to plug, like social wise, Instagram, website?
Oh man. Yeah, I mean if you're interested, like we don't have a location yet for second
Hmm.
breakfast. We'll put it out there as soon as we have something, but if you're interested in, you know, keeping up to date with what we're doing, or if you just want to see the super nerdy Lord of the Rings posts that I make
Yeah.
in my spare time, Second Breakfast Jiu-Jitsu is our Instagram, and we have a website, secondbreakfastjujitsu.com also. Yeah,
Yeah, check it out, guys. It's coming soon to the Northern Virginia area. We're really looking forward to it. We'll for sure stop by for your guys' grand opening.
thank you. I
Cool.
appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Nikki.
Thank you.